friends, family, Seattle Mariners won a series in Houston, and there is still a possibility that they can make the playoffs, albeit slim, unlike Joe and I. They took care of business in Game 3 like they needed to. I don't know, man. I mean, I thought about streaming last night, and then I saw how the game went, and I was like, nah. It's your birthday today, Dar? Dude, happy birthday, bro.
Should we sing happy birthday real quick?
Yeah. Starts off.
Oh, the lag is going to go crazy right now.
I'll try to be ahead of you.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Manny. Happy birthday to you.
I think we did pretty good there.
That was honestly I think I messed up more than you did, and you have the lag.
Yeah.
That was crazy. You're naturally gifted.
I was focused.
You're gifted, bro.
Thank you.
We're scaring you? Gage, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Julio 2020 season off of Hector Neris. No, God, I want to say words. No better person to hit that off of than that absolute stain on this planet than Hector Neris. So we love to see that.
You've got a vendetta, naturally. I mean, I deservedly so. But yeah, I the entire broadcast segment where like Golds was like talking about, and Julio and Neris, blah blah blah. In my head, I'm thinking, please just don't get out. At least get a hit. Like that would be a good moment. And then for it to be the home run to seal the 2020 season for him, that was just I'm excited about it.
It felt right hitting it off of Neris, hitting it off of ready? It felt right hitting it off of Neris, hitting it in Minute Maid Park. This game, I mean, this game went as it should have because you're playing the hungover lineup of the Houston Astros. Clearly, those guys don't care today, which is understandable. Why would they? Locked up the division. They have nothing left to play for. They may as well rest their guys.
Yeah.
And wait until Tuesday when the wild card games start. Interestingly enough, Joe, just happened actually. The Braves and Mets last 2 games just got postponed. They will now play a doubleheader on Monday.
Why?
The day before the wild card.
That's crazy.
Inclement weather. Yeah.
Dude.
So it will be, they are now going to play a doubleheader on Monday, which will probably decide the fate of the 3rd wild card spot. Eric, with the $9.99, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I watch Mariner Mojo streams on company time.
Yo, huge. I saw the W stands for, the work from home crowd. Random stream on a Wednesday at 2. Eric, we appreciate that, my friend. $9.99, kicking it off. That's the way to do it, brother. That's the way to do it. Jordan says same. Dubs.
Let's go. Appreciate it, Eric. $9.99. First D of the day, top D of the day. That's our boy Eric Schultz right there. Round of applause for Eric. Everybody, smooches, bros.
Yeah, get some smooches, bros.
What are we doing? Round of applause. What do we think this is? Locked on Mariners? Nah, smooches, bros. Anyway,
Lucario, stop it. You stop it right now. What? Are you banning him?
Yep.
No. Why? Poor guy never stood a chance.
It's too early in the day to deal with his shit.
All right.
Anyway.
But Daydara's cool, though. Daydara can say it. He can say it. It's fine. Are you going to ban him too?
Daydara.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, a lot of things have to happen, even though the Mariners won today. I'm quiet.
I turned you up.
Even though the Mariners won today, they can still be. So they're 3 games back. The Mariners have 3 games to play. The Royals and Tigers have 4. But even with the win today, the Mariners can still be mathematically eliminated tomorrow. You have to win out. You have to win out the rest of the way to make the playoffs. And you still, even if you do win out, you still need help. The teams around you, their magic numbers are 2 right now. And because of that, if let's say the Royals win tonight and the Royals win tomorrow, you're out. Same thing with the Tigers. They win tonight, they win tomorrow, the Mariners are out. So rough road ahead of them. Mariners just got to focus and continue trying to win these games against the Athletics coming up starting on Friday, Joe. But overall, they did their job in Houston. It sucked watching the Astros being able to celebrate on the field, but in my opinion, they earned it. So
Yeah, the like looking at the differences, I guess, between games 1 and 3 to game 2, it's just you didn't have enough life, I think, in game 2 when you needed it arguably the most. Like you're facing Framber. They did their job against Framber. It's just once they got to Abreu, Presley, Hader, they just didn't have enough, I guess, like left in the tank. An 8-1 victory, sure, it's against their like the hangover lineup, but like Kikuchi pitched well. Kikuchi's pitched well the entire time as an Astro. He struck out 8. I mean, the Mariners struck out 13 times in this game. They just got a lot of the big hits when they needed it. Also, courtesy of Mr. Whitcomb, third baseman, had a rough day over there at third, but those 5 errors to the Astros ledger only allows for 3 earned runs in the final pitch lines, which is kind of crazy, but like you're putting the ball in play. They knew after the first error, maybe he's got a little bit of the yips. Just keep peppering the ball down the third baseline, keep making him make the plays, and until he doesn't, it kind of worked out in their favor in this one. But it sucks that we had to watch them clinch and do the whole celebration thing, and then our mentions were a goddamn hellstorm last night. And I don't like if they had been mathematically eliminated from all playoff contention today, I'd assume it was also going to, maybe not today. They would have had to lose, and then the Tigers and the Royals would have had to have won
right.
later.
So we wouldn't have known during today's game.
Yeah, and then probably right now. But had they lost, I'm sure there would have been another wave of like irritating things. But George Kirby pitched well. After you called him the Marco Gonzalez of the 2024 Mariners, he's gone out and put up 3 great starts in a row after that awful Padres start, which he needed to do. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks.
You guys are welcome.
Yeah, it's all Colton's, courtesy of Colton's, his bad speaking, essentially, his down talking to. But Justin Turner, clutch hit, obviously the one that drives in the first 2 runs there in the 6th inning, but they kept adding on, which was nice. Garver, sure. If that's something they can get, I mean, I doubt Garver plays in the Athletic series, but
I was literally sitting there and I'm like, why is Luke Raley not hitting for Mitch Garver here? And then he hit the next pitch out. So
yeah.
The 2022 and 2023 Mariners would mop the 24 team in a 4-game series. Nope. Mariners 2024 pitching staff way too good to let that happen. The Mariners, I've only been swept twice this year. Like maybe it's been 3 times at this point, but
yeah, I think if we take say pre-trade deadline 2024, I think that's a different conversation.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to like kind of take a step back and look at like where each team would kind of rank individually, because like 2022 you get like Gino and is looking at his best. Julio was his best in 2022 as far as like pure offensive output is concerned. So like you're getting those 2 guys as like your big heavy hitters. That was when Ty was still a competent hitter for the Seattle Mariners. But then 2023, you're looking at JP being a menace. Like there's guys on each iteration of the team that I think could give fits to the pitching staff, but the starting rotation has been the best in 2024 compared to the others. You look at, say like it's a close game late. How does the bullpen fare? It would be there's no mopping happening, I would say, between any of the 3 teams. But
yeah, I mean, you got Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, and either Brian Wu in the 3 spot or George.
Sure.
And then the other one in the 4 spot. Nah, you ain't mopping that.
Mm-mm.
You missed the game. What did you miss? I don't know. Mariners won. That was cool.
Yeah, they're holding on by a thread.
Yeah.
Julio 2020 season hit a home run off Hector Neris, which was sick, but yeah, it's like the thing that is we're the earliest game, we're the first game of the day. There's so many more important things that happen later on today that we won't know the outcome for and how it affects this team until 3, 4, 5 hours from now.
Yeah, I think that no matter what happens, I'm trying to do my math right here. So let's say, Joe, that let's just use the Royals as an example here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the Royals lose today, right? The Mariners are then 1.5 games behind the Royals, but because they don't hold the tiebreaker, they're actually 2.5.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And because of that, even if they lose tomorrow, no, because if they win tomorrow, then the Mariners would be 3 back. Yeah.
Then the Royals would have to lose out. The Mariners would have to win out. Right.
Correct.
Yes. I'm pretty certain.
If the Royals lose tonight and win tomorrow,
yes,
right, that'd put the Mariners 3 games back, which would eliminate them because they don't hold the tiebreaker.
I don't think the Royals had to lose out the rest of the way. I think they had one more like game for like room for error, I guess. Because if we go 5-1 and they go 2-4, that's making up 3 games when we were 2 games back.
So let me look at. I took a screenshot of it because I was never gonna remember.
Yeah, we're two back right now, so it's 3 back.
Right. So
Oh wait.
Yeah.
So
let's assume the Royals lose tonight.
Yeah, then we'd be 1.5, which is 2.5.
Right. And then if they were to win tomorrow, Mariners are off. That would then make the Mariners 3 games back. And then they're eliminated because...
So the Royals have to lose out?
I believe so.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
I kind of think both teams have to lose out.
Yeah. I swear to God, when I looked at the on the broadcast, it said Tigers and Royals 1-4, and then the Twins could go 3-2 if the Mariners win out.
Well, but now there's only 4 games left for those teams.
Well, no, it was with the...
It
was the Mariners saying 4-0 the rest of the way. And then Tigers, Royals were 1-4, Twins 3-2, and the Mariners could make it in. Why is the math
not making the playoffs, guys? I don't know what to tell you.
Why is the math not mathing for either of us right now? That's so funny. We literally couldn't do it.
Anyway,
our small brains.
Royals, Tigers, or Twins? I'm just gonna look at the scores. I'm not gonna watch them. Diet Pepsi sponsor. Fun fact, chat. Back in the day, when I was doing Call of Duty videos, I reached out asking if Pepsi wanted to, be a sponsor or something like that, and they actually responded.
You should have done Mountain Dew Gaming instead.
And that was at a time where our channel was much smaller fan base, a lot less people, and they responded, and now half the time we can't even get people to respond to this channel.
Shame. Azaria, I'm surprised you called it a bar, not a pub. If I'm being honest with you.
What's going on there, man?
Everything okay at home, bro?
Yeah. Twins can only win 3.
See, that's what, on the broadcast, I swear to God, Mariners go 4-0.
Right.
And then Royals, Tigers 1-4, Twins 3-2. You need 2 of those 3 scenarios. I'm trusting what the broadcast said.
Me too, over us. Yeah.
Oh, they're different things.
They're different. Well,
Damn it.
A pub has like a little restaurant in there, right? That's kind of separate. Right? Is that the difference? Whereas a bar is just, drinking. And then bar food.
You could say anything to me right now, and I'd have to agree.
Guys, I'm in Tampa, and the hurricane has come to wash away my playoff dreams. I don't like that, Tyler.
I hope if that's real, please find safety.
If the Mariners go 4-0 to finish the season, so assuming they sweep the Athletics, 2 of the 3 scenarios must happen. Kansas City goes 1-4, Detroit goes 1-4, and Minnesota goes 3-2.
That's the exact graphic that was on the screen. But when we're talking it out loud,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't equate.
Let me pull up the standings, bro.
Because they're 2 back right now, right? Royals lose tonight, 1.5. They win tomorrow, they're 2 back. Oh, yeah. Because then you could still pass them because...
Okay, so I have the standings pulled up. Okay. So the Mariners go 4-0. Right now, they got one of those 4 wins. So they are at 82-77. Assuming they win the last 3 games, they would be 85-77. Right?
Uh-huh.
That math is mathing.
Yes.
let's say the rest of the way, the 5 games the other teams have left, let's say the Kansas City Royals go 1-4. That would put them at 84 and 74.
That was probably the easier thing to do.
78.
That would probably be the easier thing to do, is just actually do the final records
Than
try and figure out the games back.
If Detroit goes 1-4, they would go 80. They'd be 84 and 74. And if the Twins, what do the Twins have to go 3-2?
Yeah,
the Twins would end up 84 and 77.
78.
78.
Math. Numbers are hard. So yeah, get to 85 wins. The other teams get to 84 wins. You're in. Yeah, the Tigers, I feel like the Tigers have to be a lock. They've been playing.
Yeah, they're locked.
They've been playing such good baseball for what, 2 months now? It feels like maybe a month.
Jackson Jobe coming up. They have Scooble's got another start. Like, yeah, they're locked.
If they want to have Scooble go out there again, they can. But if they clinch like playoff berth before like whatever, like his turn to the rotation again, like I feel like they save him for game 1 of a wild card series for sure. Mm-hmm. So
what's the move? Who's going to the end of season party? Can you bring me, Dadara? I'm last time I went and I was really good at bingo. I won a lot of shit.
Should there be a +1 scenario there, Dadara?
Can I be your +1? I mean, I had a +1 that didn't work there, so I know you can. Just saying.
Is he holding out?
You holding out on me?
That's crazy. Bro hits his mid-20s and just like starts. That's crazy.
Streaming while I'm working is diabolical. You work, Dorian?
You have a job?
I thought they had child labor laws in effect or something.
They actually hired someone like you? That's crazy.
If only we won 54%. 54% gets you into the playoffs this year, chat. 100%.
No.
That'd be 88 wins.
Yeah. I mean, their expected win-loss is probably right around 54%.
Yep.
So that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Chat, what do you got? I want to ask this question while we have actual people here, Joe. What do you guys think we should talk about in the podcast today for our middle segment? We'll talk about the Astros as like the beginning. We'll talk about the Athletic series as the ending. We obviously got to talk about the wild card standings a little bit, but what else do you guys want to hear about on the podcast specifically? I'm interested.
Crickets. Guys, we need an answer now.
Would you rather play Houston or Baltimore in the wild card? Honestly, Houston. Because until the Mariners can beat Houston in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. Like, I need to see it happen. You know what I mean? No, they're 1 loss behind, right? 82 and 77. Who? Talk about the Mitch Garver 10-year extension. Macklemore for president. Okay, guys, thanks.
Yeah,
I made the mistake of asking.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. Talk about Brian Wu's case for the Hall of Fame. People are starting to talk about Brian Wu in 12 years' time, what his resume is going to look like. People are talking.
We need to talk about who we'd root for in the playoffs. We'll probably do that on Sunday's podcast because that'll be the end of the season, like officially.
Ooh, really quickly. So you mentioned the Braves and Mets having a doubleheader on Monday. Mm-hmm. The Royals play the Braves this weekend.
Right. So the Braves will still going to be playing for something.
They'll still be playing for something, but also they might be saving stuff for Monday. Maybe not saving stuff, but like if they can get an extra start out of Chris Sale instead of on Sunday, they have him go Monday or however his turn through. That adds an extra layer to like what the Royals may have to face against the Braves this coming weekend if the Braves have 2 against their direct opponent in the wild card, which, I mean, again, the best scenario for the Braves is to beat up on the Royals so that way they have a gap if, say, the Mets lose over the weekend. But, like, that's just something I thought of when you mentioned that the Braves and Mets will be doing that.
Never mind, chat. I don't need you guys. We have enough to talk about.
Damn.
Kitty said, what changes need to happen in 25 so we're not in this position next year? Yeah, that's definitely something we're going to have to talk about over the offseason, Kitty. Like, because there's a lot that need to happen. So, I already have an idea of what I want to talk about on Sunday when they're officially eliminated or when the season's officially over. I have like an actual little notes app of things I want to make sure I touch on.
Bro's going to be prepared.
Let's go. Bring back JT, 40-year-old Justin Turner. I'm in. Get a third baseman and a shortstop. Frodo with the $4.99. Appreciate it.
Dubs.
Appreciate it.
Shout out
Frodo,
Frodo.
appreciate it.
I think
Um,
the Mitches, I saw something like bring back the Mitches, but yeah, I don't know how that'll look in the offseason. They're owed so much money, and trying to get rid of either of them will be like a logistic nightmare of like what prospects you'll have to like put with them. I think as far as trading, unless you just get rid of them and then you eat the money, which
yeah, that's what they have to do with it. You have to do that with Mitch Haniger.
it's just like they're not going to though with how like the team is run financially. That's just not what it's gonna happen. Trust me. I think that's the best thing to do, of course, because like that's like the thing that causes the least amount of headaches. But the likelihood of that kind of playing out that way is pretty low, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but yeah.
To answer the Angie question, I love Angie on the broadcast.
It's
I think
fun.
she brings a whole she's fun on the broadcast. Brings a whole different energy to it.
Sure, it's not like the
Um,
same like cup of
it's
tea. It's
it's
different,
different, but I like it.
it's a nice change of pace for, and I think that I don't know. I don't know if it's like she's more geared towards like if it's like a younger audience. I feel like that style of commentary is definitely geared towards like younger-ish fans. Maybe not like younger than us, but like our age range and maybe like plus 10 years. Like I feel like is fine. Like it's like there's not there's I would be very surprised if I found people complaining about it, if that makes sense.
Gage, I promise you, Angie Mentink knows more about baseball than either me or Joe or you.
Combined.
100%. She knows more than all of us. I promise you,
Yeah.
dude. She was saying stuff like I think it was either today or yesterday. I was like, damn, I never thought about that. I don't even remember what it was now. I just remember being like, damn,
Yeah.
that's something I've never thought about. Like,
She's spitting right now.
people are talking about Rivas and honestly, I would have loved to see. I hope he plays over JP the rest of the year. I'm tired of watching JP play right now. It's a true statement. He is the worst hitter on the team, one of the worst in baseball right now.
It's not been
Sorry.
pretty for sure. Has not been pretty. The like not seeing JP in a Mariners uniform next year. Again, that's like another like how do they deal with like Haniger, Garver, like adding in like moving on from JP. Like I honestly don't see it, but I can understand given what we've seen out of Crawford this season why people would want that. I think his comment last night after his golden sombrero was just talking about how like it was shitty. Like I just need to be better. Like it's been a rough year at the plate overall. I just need to be better. Like does that inspire a little bit of confidence? I mean, it's all talk until you actually like do something. But yes,
The Twins just designated Cole Irvin for assignment.
no, that's a bad thing. We want him to
What?
pitch that way he can get shelled.
Yeah, but he's a bitch.
That's fair. Yeah.
Cole Young come up to replace JP in 25 or 26. I'm in. So I think what needs to happen this offseason, chat. The Mariners, they cannot rely on prospects next year to like come up and just make an immediate impact. You can't just say, oh well, we have Cole Young coming up, so we can't go sign Willie Adames. You can't do that.
Sure.
What you can do, however, is move JP Crawford over to second base, sign Willie Adames, and say, okay, when Cole Young and them are ready, if JP's still struggling, we're cutting bait.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which sucks. I would hate to see JP Crawford like get DFA'd. I hope he comes back next year and is the guy that he was last year and at the end of 22. I don't know if it's gonna happen. But I, if that is the case, that is what you do with JP Crawford to bring up either Cole Young or Colt Emerson. And depending on what kind of contract you sign Willie Adames to, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say Colt Emerson is probably your third baseman of the future.
Yeah, beyond 2025.
And I'd say Cole Young will be at second base for you, so you can still have Adames at shortstop in that scenario.
Yeah.
So. And then, of course, first base, what do you do at first base? I think right now, assuming everything stays as it is, you see Luke Raley get quite a bit of time over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Justin Turner will retire. So
Probably.
I don't see them bringing him back. But like if like Carlos Santana, that's another guy that he's had a great year, and they want to reach out to him. Decent chance that Eugenio Suarez is a free agent this offseason. Like they can go out and get him if they wanted to.
Just get the band back together.
Get the band back together. Yeah, Mitch Haniger, bring him back next year. I just accept that option, or he's going to accept that option. Bring him back. I cannot believe the contract that the Giants gave to him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Blows my mind. Why isn't CJ Abrams playing? Because bro was too busy partying at the casino.
Yeah,
You know?
till the wee hours of the morning, aka 8 a.m. Everyone's already at
Yeah.
their 9 to 5s. They're getting ready to be at their 9 to 5s. Nicholas, to answer your question, do we think that the Nationals will win the series? I don't know if we think it, but they need to.
I don't
Plain and
think they
simple.
will, but I hope they do.
They need to for our sake, but yeah, I would bet that the Nationals would beat the Royals before the Tigers lose a series, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So,
Do you guys think this team can get to the World Series if they make the playoffs? Yes.
sure.
If this team was to make they've proved how good they are. It was just too little too late. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, if a starter gets traded, who do you think it will be? Joe?
Luis Castillo, I think,
Yep.
is the most likely outcome. If it's from like the core five, I think they've seen what they like the other four. Like Bryce Miller has actually been the best pitcher this season. Like ERA below 3. I think he's got the best ERA plus or ERA minus, depending on which one you look at. Like Gilbert's been good. He was really great, and then I think the last 2 months his ERA has been around 4 for the last 2 months, so it's not been like a great finish for him. But innings, strikeouts wise, like it's a great year for Gilbert. Obviously, Woo brilliance up until the last 2 starts essentially, and then Kirby had a great June, July, terrible August, kind of rebounded in September a little bit. Castillo, aging, owed the most money, probably will get you the least in a return, but it makes the most sense, I think, from a financial point of view and I guess just talent point of view, because I think all 4 of those pitchers will be better than Castillo next year. Pretty, maybe not safely, but that wouldn't be like otherworldly to me. Will he be better than Emerson Hancock next year? I think so. I think Castillo's still ahead of Hancock for good reason, but if it's not Castillo, I think they trade from like some of like the younger depth of like if they can get someone to bite on an Evans or a Brandon Garcia or a Michael Morales, like a prospect like package to then go out and make a trade. But that's probably not where their head's at as far as like trying to free up stuff monetarily. So
That's the thing, is like, obviously I think you and I are both in agreement that we would rather they use their pitching prospects to go out and get a bat, because there's a reason. The only reason the Mariners are in contention right now is because of their starting rotation. If this team had figured out how to hit prior to the month of like the end of July, like early August, then maybe we wouldn't be talking about this. But because of how good the pitching staff is, the Mariners are in a position now where it's slim, but they could make the playoffs. And that's why I think you got to keep this pitching staff around. But I am opening up more to the idea of trading a starting pitcher than I was maybe a few weeks ago.
Sure.
With that being said, however, I look at this offense, right? And I go, okay, what positions can you add? Obviously, you're locked up at catcher. You're locked up in the outfield. Like, they're not going to trade Randy. That's not going to happen.
It doesn't feel like it. Like
it'd be the dumbest shit ever.
The vibes around him in left field with Julio, with Robles have definitely improved. And I mean, he's hitting like flat out. Not today, 0 for 5 with 4 Ks, but like he's been hitting. Like that outfield trio is, when they're on, like one of the most dynamic outfields in all of baseball. And sure, it's incumbent on the fact that Robles has been a player that he's never been his entire career outside of when he was coming up as a prospect, kind of coming into his own, which is, will we see more of that next year? I think we'll still see like moments of it, but I don't think it'll be as consistent.
No.
But still, like that's your, like, I won't say your third best outfielder on the team, but if like Robles and Randy are like your like 2A, 2B behind Julio, that's great. And you have Rayleigh as your 4th when he's not playing first base. Like the positions to upgrade are second base and third base. And whether or not you think shortstop as well, like you can move JP to second, however it works, it's like every position around the diamond outside of first base, because you can still upgrade first. It's just Luke Rayleigh is, I think, they're going to play him at first more often than not next year, given how the outfield is kind of constructed. And I've saw a lot of comments about like non-tendering Josh Rojas this offseason. I don't know if I agree with that. Like $6 million for what's been elite defense and like utility around the infield as a lefty. Like I think keeping him and Dylan Moore makes sense, but like then it's just kind of like hampering your roster flexibility. So like maybe they're too repetitive. I don't know. I'm not sold on non-tendering Rojas as it stands right now. Obviously his bat has cooled down tremendously, and that's probably where a lot of that's stemming from. And the money, if you can clear up 6 million and it's a kind of like a repetitive like player, sure. It can like I can see the logic behind it, but not going out and getting someone to, I guess, compete for second base, third base with Ryan Bliss. Like you can't just give Ryan Bliss the job. You can't just give Cole Young the job. You have to have some sort of in-house competition. And like you're saying, sign Willie Adames, move JP to second, and then if JP's struggling, then Cole Young can replace him, or however it works. Or like if Ben Williamson is ready next year offensively, because he's great down there defensively at third in Arkansas. If he's ready, shows that he's good enough in spring training, maybe he's your opening day third baseman. Like there's a lot that can happen over the next 5 months. I feel like that can change a lot of perspective. It's an unfortunate free agent class because it's just not very it's not a very fruitful free agent class.
Mm-hmm. What I want to do as we get into the offseason, we're gonna have so much time to talk about all these roster moves, so I don't want to go like too super far into it. But when we do talk about free agents show, I think what we do is we just look at the entire list on MLB trade rumors and we just make categories. Should the Mariners be interested? Yes. Like Mariners should be interested in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe, and then like we'll just all the guys are absolutely not, so like whatever.
Yeah.
But then should they be interested, but would they come here?
Sure.
Like there are certain guys that would never come here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alex Bregman. Also the Mariners shouldn't be interested in him. Greg! Jesus. My guy, Gregory, with the $50 holla. I just want to say thanks for all the Mariners talk throughout the season. Not gonna lie, this season has taken a toll on my soul. Greg, I hope you know how much we appreciate you, man. Always coming in with the big donos. And yeah, in terms of seasons, and this is definitely the hardest one we've had to cover.
Yeah.
Like doing this, because we started this in 2022. Obviously, Mariners made the playoffs that year. 2023 was all right. It was hit or miss, but they made it really close to the end that we kind of thought there was a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, ever since mid-July, it just has not felt like there was an opportunity for this team. And it's one of those ones where it's very clear that the talent is there for like the talent is there with guys like Julio, with guys like JP, but it just they have not been able to put it all together. So yeah, it is one of those ones that has definitely tested my ability to think clearly as a Mariners fan. I think that I have realized this year that I am way too invested in the Seattle Mariners. And like we've talked about before, how much they affect my mood. But this year specifically, they have affected my mood so much more than they have in years past.
Yeah, last night you were grumpy gills.
Dude, I was just pissed off. Dude.
Yeah.
I was mean last night. I don't know. I was just a dick. Yeah, it was tough.
Regardless of that, cheers to Greg. Thank you, Greg. Really, really do appreciate it, my man.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Greg. You know what,
Thanks, Greg.
You, even when we have not so fun streams, Greg, like where we're kind of down in the dumps, like, oh, the Mariners suck. Greg, you come through, bro.
Facts.
You come through. Absolute legend. We appreciate you, man, for real. Is Marte signed with Arizona long term? I don't know. Yes, but I don't know what his contract's looking like at this point.
I'll look it up. And then
Mitchell,
I'll crash stream.
Crash stream, yeah. Turns out you're going to be there, but at the end, you have to coach. So I don't think I'll be making any spring training games. Rip, Mitchell. Rip, bro. Well, I'm down there for a month. So if you happen to have that change and you are going to be going to some games, let me know.
Marte's contract. 5 years, 76 million, 23 to 27, and a 28 team option. So, I mean, the Diamondbacks won't trade him. They won't move off of him.
No,
I don't think.
No.
He's like their franchise cornerstone kind of guy, along with Corbin Carroll, like on the offensive side. Like, they won't move off Marte. And like, if any team tries to acquire him, it's going to cost them an arm and a leg times 2. But I just want to highlight Sour Vanilla's comment because I thought it was funny this season can smooch his bro my ass. So I think that is good.
What a guy.
Greg?
Hornet taking care of Hornets. What are the odds, man? Unreal. Greg,
Oops.
it's a small world, man. It's a small world, Greg. And for that to, us to somehow find each other, you know what I mean? Like this is crazy, man. Appreciate you. With $20 holler. $70 from Greg in the past, 5 minutes. Azaria, Greg, such a real one. Azaria, I'm pinning that. Greg's such a real one.
Greg the homie.
Greg the homie. Greg, more like goat.
Goat Reg. The G in Greg stands for goat.
That's right. Yeah.
Both G's, actually.
Frodo with the $9.99. Did you guys see the Ty France interview where he was asked if he still talked to his former team about playing for another team? He said he told guys the grass was greener on the other side. Did he?
I saw some stuff about how he was asked about Julio, and it was a very classy moment from Ty. I did not see that aspect of how things can be better on the outside, but I also feel that was, Ty was let go before hitting coach and managerial change happened. So that could also be related to that. I don't want to put words into Ty France's mouth and say he specifically was hey, you guys should get out while you can. But I also think that there's definitely been, you can look and bear witness to the actual change that we've seen in within the Mariners, as an organization, at least for the last month. I feel Edgar has had a huge impact. The way Julio talks about the simplified approach, I think speaks volumes to that. But if that's a yikes.
Yeah, I love Ty France, and I hate to say he has a point, but he does. We have seen time and time again how frustrated these guys are with this ownership group, with this front office, etc. We saw it with Al last year. Hey, we need to go out there and get the guys that are necessary to win a World Series. The Mariners didn't do that this offseason. And whether or not at the beginning of the year, because honestly, I'll be the first to say at the beginning of the year, I thought they had the pieces.
Yeah, Garver being a 171 average, negative WAR guy, not on the bingo card. At least provide some value. Jorge Polanco being worth 0.2 wins. I would have penciled in at least a 2-win season. JP Crawford being 1.5 wins. It's just there's not, and I'm not trying to sit here and make excuses, but you looked back on at that roster, on paper, and things made a lot more sense than they actually played out to be. If that kind of lines up of yeah, this team felt as complete as it could get. It's just the problems that persisted in the previous years continued. And maybe that should have been writing on the wall to get rid of some of the coaching earlier on. Maybe that's was the gap that they were missing. But
Mariners constructed to beat Astros, but forget to beat the Angels. You forgore to beat the Angels. You forgore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, it is the players have a point. And Joe and I have been talking about this, and it rings even more true day in and day out about John Middleton, the owner of the Philadelphia Phillies, where he during their party said, "I want my effing trophy back."
Yeah.
For the World Series. That dude went out there. Think about the contracts they've signed, right? You think about Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Aaron Nola, guys like that. And they went out and just made they signed those guys. There's a winning culture in Philadelphia, and they weren't doing it for a little bit. And so they said, okay, cool, let's go fix it. They have a real owner. They have a real baseball owner. And again, this is not, I'll say it straight up, fuck John Stanton. Fuck him.
I saw the hesitation in your eyes.
But at the same time, obviously he is the core person to blame here. However, Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander's ability to go out there and find the guys to make this work, even under those restrictions, because other teams are doing it for less money. Other teams have done it for less money. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure where all the teams that are going to be in the playoffs this year I know I'm pretty like 99% sure the Royals have a lower payroll. How'd they do it? Right? If it's all about money and it's all about the money given to this front office, how did the Royals do it then? They have Bobby Witt Jr. Better than Julio.
Better than Julio. I mean, they identified their biggest weakness last year, which was pitching, and they went out and signed Seth Lugo. They got Michael Wacha. Seth Lugo coincidentally putting up the second, third, like in the top 5 best season for a starting pitcher in Royals history. And then you've also got him paired up with Cole Raggett. Like they identified a gap and they went out and solved it. I think the Mariners tried to do that, but they were unsuccessful. So it's like player evaluation department as far as like identifying gaps, how to fix them. They just did not succeed in that same facet, whereas the Royals did. And again, credit to the Royals for finding out what they needed to do. Discredit to the Mariners for figuring out what they needed to do, but not executing on it. Like task failed successfully or whatever, kind of like that whole meme. But
and so it's obviously on John Stanton, but it's also on the front office, but it's also on the players. Like, and it's not to say that these guys don't want it, because they obviously do. We've seen, like JP, we have seen how awful like he looks like he feels dealing with what he's dealing with right now. You can see him after every at bat, he's shaking his head. You know, he's just he just feels like crap. But it's on the players. If you don't perform, this is what happens. If JP performed this year, if Julio performed like they have their entire, like, I mean, not their entire careers, but, dude, shout out to Sukjin. Say that right?
Sukjin Aigu, maybe.
If they just performed how they did last year, this team's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They would be. But it's on JP. It's on Julio. It's on Mitch Garver being one of the worst hitters I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes, worse than Colton Wong. Like, it's on those guys as well. Yes, it starts at the top with John Stanton not being willing to go out there and get the guys that are needed. And it goes down to the front office not being able to identify the right guys. And then the guys they're putting on the field that, in our opinion, should have been the right guys, didn't perform. They didn't. Like Julio Rodriguez, JP Crawford, Mitch Garver, Jorge Polanco. These guys didn't come through. That was supposed to be the middle of your, like the top and middle of your lineup. That's what it was supposed to be. Plain and simple.
So, not to completely derail your thought process, maybe not like an uncensored big podcast, but like a Mariners open mic night could be really funny content-wise. So Ty would start singing. I think Ty could like battle rap about the Mariners.
Could you imagine like we're like the hosts and we're like bringing people on?
No, that could be really good, funny content. I just don't know like how applicable it is like for like our audience and community, but still, like that is. Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. The first time we ever have like guests on the podcast and it's open mic, uncensored, like
just really just pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah, no, the Mariners had a great deadline. No, I mean the guys they added have been, other than Jimmy Garcia, have been great.
And you have both of the guys that like have been producing for you or doing well enough. Like you have them for at least next year as well. Like Randy, I think you've got for 2.5, but Chargois is on the roster next year. Like he's not a free agent like Garcia is. And unfortunate that Garcia didn't pan out, but like, I don't know, you look at the Orioles and their trade deadline. If you like take a look at how those guys, like they've gotten rid of 3 of the 5 guys that they acquired.
They
like
just sent Eloy down.
Yeah, like there's been worse, I guess, teams, and that's not to make an excuse again. Like I don't want to like keep backpedaling on things, but like could the deadline have been better? Yes, but like I think the guys that they went out and sought out to get did their job except for Jimmy Garcia, and that's just gonna happen. Like you're not gonna win every single trade. You're not the Rays, who have lost some trades in the last, I'd say like last offseason. Like Pepio had a chance to pass Glasnow in wins, like WAR, I guess, with his start yesterday. Luke Raley for Caballero, that's a win. For the Mariners, absolutely, compared to what the Rays are getting out of Caballero. Of course, it depends on like what the team needs. Did they need Luke Raley? No. Did they need a guy like Caballero? Yeah, more in general, yes. But like Raley has been about as good, if not, I mean, definitely, I feel like better than like what we expected to him. I mean, it's kind of like where I expected him to be at, but again, he's on the team for a long time. Rays lost that trade. Like teams are not going to win every single trade that they do. Call up Class A? Yep. True. I'm in.
Yeah,
Open night.
it'll be interesting to see what the plan is this offseason because again, Joe and I have plenty of thoughts on what that plan should be. We have plenty of thoughts on what moves need to be made. But again, with that being said, we both thought at the start of the year that this team was going to win the division. We thought they were going to win 90 plus games.
We're just too optimistic.
And well, it's like, and again, I don't understand. I've said this before. Like nobody could have predicted this. Says the only team's fan base this predictably happens to. Like I don't know. Like because every year I feel like I've been saying nobody could have predicted that Colton Wong was going to be as bad as he was.
Yeah,
He was coming off his career best years. Nobody could have predicted that Mitch Garver was going to be one of the worst hitters in baseball. He just won a World Series and was a key piece in that Rangers offense. Nobody could have predicted that Jorge Polanco was going to be awful for most of the year because he has done it for 10 years with the Minnesota Twins and he's been great. How does it keep happening? I don't know. We can blame it a little bit, sure, on T-Mobile Park, but even then, the guys suck on the road too.
yeah.
Like we can't put it all on T-Mobile Park. Sure, there's definitely there's something with T-Mobile Park. If you look at Logan Gilbert's ERA, above 4 on the road, like under 3 at home. Like there's definitely something about it, and that's why you have to keep an elite pitching staff. As long as the Mariners keep an elite pitching staff, they will be in contention every single year.
Because if the easiest way to win games is to limit the other team from scoring, and with as good of a pitching staff, like that is going to consistently be like a presence for your team. I think we'll go the opposite direction as far as like player acquisition. Get guys that have just been terrible, and then they'll turn it around automatically. We'll do the Uno reverse card, right? Colton Wong, Adam Frazier, Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garver, all guys that seemingly should have figured out and fit in. Let's go get all the worst guys and then have them turn into the best guys. Thoughts and opinions?
I'm in.
Perfect.
So
something's got to change, right? Like something has to go right eventually, or we're just cursed.
Jacob, I don't agree with that whatsoever. Like, I don't know if Divish actually said that. I mean, there's a reason why you can't get guys in the midst of their peaks.
Too expensive sometimes, but yeah.
Like sure, we could go get Juan Soto for $800 million. Like middle of his peak. He hasn't even entered it yet, actually. But like Teoscar Hernandez, he wasn't at the tail end of his career.
I mean, he had a great year with
he put up over 30 home runs this year with the Dodgers. Better lineup around him. Like, no, that's not the case. Like, even Colton Wong was coming off his 2 best years of his career. Like, Luke Raley was coming into his own for the first time in 2023. Like, guys on the tail ends of their career I don't even think that even makes sense because one of your most consistent hitters over the past 2 months has been Justin Turner, who probably retires after this year. Like, I just don't agree with that sentiment from Divish if that's the case. And I mean, certainly there are guys like I don't think that they're getting guys on the tail end of their careers. I think they're getting guys and the guys start to suck so bad that they retire. Like, look at Jesse Winker turn things around this year. Like I don't
healthy,
all the guys they've gone out and got, like they all can go play somewhere else. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
I think like I look at some like specific examples for this team this year, like Rayleigh, Robles, Randy. I would not consider those guys at the tail end of their career. Like Randy is 29, Rayleigh's 30, late bloomer, but he's 30. Robles is 27. Like those are all guys that I would not say that they have acquired at the tail end of their career. Would I say that Garver is closer to that? Yes, I would agree with Garver. Polanco, it's like on the cusp. It's not like the exact thing. But like if that's the by and large like idea behind it, I would say I generally disagree. But also in the same vein of like bullpen, the amount of times the Mariners help reinvigorate players' careers as far as like being bullpen pitchers, like second to none. Like Gabe Spire wouldn't have a job if he didn't come to Seattle. Justin Topa wouldn't have been such a highly coveted trade bullpen piece in the offseason if he wasn't on the Mariners in 2023. Eric Swanson wouldn't have netted Teoscar Hernandez with a prospect that was never going to amount to anything in the Mariners organization and Adam Macko to get Teoscar Hernandez in the 2022-2023 offseason. I get some of the sentiment, but I think largely disagree. But
Um, no, we could not, Rocky. That would take forever. Cole Young at second to climb Polanco. We talked about this a little bit already. I'm not inherently disagreeing with that sentiment. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just think that you cannot rely next year on a guy coming up out of the minor leagues just to go out there and assume he's going to take off and be a difference maker in this lineup. Like, not everyone's Jackson Merrill. You know what I mean? Like, Jackson Merrill is the exception, not the standard for prospects coming out of the minor leagues. And if somebody like Cole Young forces the Mariners' hand next year, great.
Yeah.
Dude's hitting 400 in spring training, great. But with that being said, you have to hit this offseason. You have to go out there and get guys that make sense. Otherwise, it is time to really look in the mirror as you get into 2026 and you start to see some guys go towards the end of their contracts, like Logan, like Cal, etc. You have to start asking yourself the tough questions of, okay, what do we do now? Mm-hmm. Do we trade these guys? Do we step back for a year and wait for Colt Emerson and Lazaro to be ready, or are they going to be ready in 2026? I don't know. I would assume I'd be willing to bet they will be. The thing that I'm the most interested in is to see whether or not the Mariners decide to be more aggressive next year with their prospects. Like,
aggressive in like the sense of calling them up, or like trading them for other things.
Calling them up.
I feel like what we saw out of the guys that did come up out of the prospect system this year, I don't know if but they're not like the top end. Like, Locklear is probably the best one that they called up, and he didn't get enough run to, I think, really have like a foundational, like, kind of like thought, like a final say about how Locklear will be. Like, will he come up next year and take at bats away from Luke Raley? Maybe, but like, he's going to have to show out in spring training and throughout the offseason, or he'll get traded. Like, I really don't know like what the outlook is for Locklear as far as like where he's at with the team, because he's not a third baseman anymore. He is a first baseman, maybe a DH, maybe they DH him. Like, I don't know. There's options, but like, as far as second base is concerned, like, Polanco, one, it frees up a lot of money. Like, you shouldn't run it back. And Yuri asking like, who in the lineup like are like a for sure thing to return? All three outfielders, Randy, Julio, Robles, Rayleigh included in that, but I consider him more of a first baseman at this point, and Cal. Those five, I think, are locks. Everyone else you can probably upgrade on pretty safely. And not say that like signing Juan Soto would not upgrade your outfield, but like, as far as realistic upgrades are concerned, like, and listen, I want Juan Soto as much as the next guy. Colton wanted him more than Shohei Ohtani last offseason. It's just not feasible. You had your best chance to acquire him when the Padres were talking about trading him. Signing him to a free agent contract to Seattle is just not going to happen, realistically. And
I agree.
Whether or not like you'd sign him and he'd play the outfield, he'd probably just be your DH. Or like, if you trade Randy, then that causes like a different situation. Like, could you sign him then? Sure. But like, how like far down the rabbit hole of like, and again, as someone who's been a largely delusional person this entire season, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I won't, because it's just not going to happen. Does the fit make sense? Like, if you trade one of your outfielders, of course, but it's just like, I don't see it really happening. So like, you're looking at upgrading elsewhere around the infield, and you have prospects in place. It's just, how much are you going to trust them? Like, from how they operated this year, I don't know. And again, that can completely change with how they develop. Cole Young in the Arizona Fall League, that's huge. I think that's great for him. Get as much exposure as you can. Get your bat as ready as you can be for going into the 2025 season, because he has to know. Like, he's not like, sure, he's in the playoffs for the Travelers right now, but he has to know the organizational outlook for positions that he plays. He has to see that everyone's talking about Polo's $12 million option, how it's going to be declined, and who's ahead of him. It's Ryan Bliss. If he outplays Ryan Bliss in spring training, bang, he's got second base pretty much locked up if they don't go out and get someone big. So,
Yeah, I think that in terms of free agents that are out there on the offensive side of things, the best that you'll be able to do this offseason would be Willie Adames. Like he is like probably the top end of A, what you're willing to spend yearly, and B, a guy who fills a position of need. And even then it might be too rich. Like it's gonna cost a lot to go get Willie Adames. And so
Mm-hmm.
how do the Mariners do that? Do they dump Mitch Haniger somehow and decline Polo's option? Maybe, and that's how they make the money to go out there and get somebody like Willie Adames. But yeah, it's the path for the Mariners. I mean, in my opinion, the path is pretty clear. The problem is they are putting obstacles. Like John Stanton's, like Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander are walking through this maze, right? And John Stanton's there, like putting chairs in the way or fake walls up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Leading them down the wrong direction. Was that good? Was that a good analogy?
Like the carnival like mirror maze, that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Desert Stro, you're probably happy to have missed today's game. It was a pretty rough look, but the Astros were hungover, so
I don't blame them for having
yeah,
Whitcomb go play third base.
I mean, I wouldn't have blamed them if they would have put Hader over there at third base. Who cares? You know what I mean? They won the division. Who cares? Yeah, I don't know, chat. I mean, like I said, we're gonna have so much time over the offseason to really talk about what needs to be done with this team moving forward. Um, Obviously, the the first step when we get to the offseason will be learning because that will really set into motion what we have moving forward. And so, yeah. Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. The stream was buffering for me.
I think it died for a second.
Did the stream die, chat? I just got the Mariners postseason email. Yeah, I just got the text.
I think it did die. I didn't look up anything. Ian said, "Damn it, Joe." I swear to God, I didn't look up anything.
Joe did it.
I didn't do a damn thing. I didn't do a damn thing.
Smallest chance in heck to MC the postseason, and I have mourned the 24 season. Yeah, KK, I'm right there with you. Looking forward to talking ball with you guys this offseason. Yeah, it's gonna be a long offseason, chat. I mean, the Mariners, there's a lot of work to be done. The fact that two seasons in a row now after making the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, like it's gonna be a long offseason. A lot of questions need to be asked over the next 6 months or so.
Yeah, I don't know if stream actually did die, but like I still have it live on my end.
Nah, I still see it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Desert Stro, it's true. Logan Gilbert's crazy when he gets run support. Crazy. And yeah, that's fair, Jacob. Yeah. The Mariners bargain bin diving on hitters, but at the same time, like you look at the free agent hitters this offseason, like Garver was ranked as one of the top free agent hitters this offseason. I mean, he wasn't Shohei Ohtani, obviously, or Aaron Judge or anything like that, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The Mitch Garver one is the one that really blows my mind. Like, how he's so bad this year.
Just like that big of a regression.
Mm-hmm. Like, Colton Wong was coming off the best 2 years of his career, but he'd never been an elite hitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, it wasn't necessarily that surprising. I mean, it sucked. And I love Colton Wong. But it's like, okay, like, sure, we could have seen that coming. But Mitch Garver is a guy who has never really struggled at the plate in his entire career. Even when he has not been great, he's been good.
I feel like I desperately want to go check like his barrel percentage and his whiff percentage because that is what he excelled at in previous years when he was good. Comparing it to like look at his it's odd year Garver that's good every single time. So like look at his even years to his odd years. Or no, it's even. No, yeah, odd year Garver. As far as like barrel percentage and whiff percentage is concerned, like how much they vary alternating years, like that would be where I would look at to see like why Garver's struggling.
Barrel percentage this year very similar to last year.
Interesting.
This year it's at 60 in the 62nd percentile. Last year it was 63rd.
Mm-hmm.
However, his hard hit percentage this year is in the 50th percentile. Last year it was in the 83rd percentile. His exit velocities. Oh, I'm sorry, his barrel percentage. I'm looking at this wrong. His barrel percentage, you're right, was in the 83rd percentile.
Okay.
Last year. This year it's in the 50th percentile. Yeah. What was the other one you told me to look up?
Whiff percentage.
His whiff percentage is in the 12th percentile this year. Last year, it was in the 59th percentile.
Okay. So
He's still not chasing out of the zone. His chase percentage this year is in the 95th percentile. Last year it was 98th.
it's because he just doesn't swing at anything in the zone either. Bro just is taking
That's
strike
true.
3 all
That's
the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, he just doesn't. Dude, he doesn't look like he cares. Like,
which is
I know he
hard.
does,
Yeah.
but he literally just like gives you the most dog shit at bat you've ever seen. Swings like this, pops the ball straight up, puts his head down, and runs. Like, let's see some emotion. You know what I mean? Like, let's see that you're mad. I know that he is pissed off, but let's
Has
see
to
it.
be.
You know what I mean? No. Let's get out of here, Joe. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay, because we have to go record a podcast that we're going to talk about for about 30 minutes anyways.
Yeah, we got to go record the podcast after this, Jack. We get Joe screaming "Pog." LOL, it's the only thing that brings me any relief when I see it on Twitter after something bad happens.
I mean, I can definitely turn those into an emote pretty easily. So I'll turn the most recent one into one.
The one of you yelling the F word?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that one.
Mm-hmm. I can
That one's
definitely do that.
Perfect. I look forward to it. I'm gonna put that as your contact picture of my phone.
It's my Discord
time
picture now.
Call me, you just look mad because you call me so often.
Yeah, naturally. Always do. Okay. Well, appreciate y'all coming out on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
156 in here right now.
Pretty good turnout. The Mariners are still alive, and maybe that's the hope. But obviously, Eric, Frodo, and Greg, appreciate your contributions. Thank you for your patronage today, as you guys always do so well. But again, podcast tomorrow, off day. Take a breather, but also, if you scoreboard watch, it's okay. It's okay if you do a little bit of scoreboard watch because we're all human. But Colton, any last things you'd like to say?
No, I mean, the next time that no, we might stream over the next 2 days. That's not true. I was gonna say the next time that we stream. Actually, I mean, I won't be streaming on Friday because I'll be at the game.
Yeah, I'll probably
And,
if they win, I'll stream.
Saturday, if they do still have a chance, I'm going to the game on Saturday. So in which case, yeah. But yeah, so it might be the last time you see us before the end of the season other than the podcast, but probably not. So appreciate you guys watching this one. Appreciate you guys. Jake, just
at the buzzer,
just coming in, becoming a Majovian. What a legend. Jake, we appreciate you guys. Manny doesn't know ball. That is true. Happy birthday, Daydara. We appreciate you guys. We are going to go record the podcast now, episode 125 of the Hit It Here podcast. And go Mariners and heck the Astros.
So you ended that like it was a podcast. That was good.
I did, dude. It just felt right. Yeah.
So
and also heck the Astros.
So we're gonna leave now.
All right, now see ya.
All right. I said last time we wouldn't do this again, but here we are.
All right.
Okay.